Okay, a very good afternoon, a good morning, and good evening to all on frequency. This is ZA6YI running the worldwide DATV Sunday net, normally this time, which would be 1300 UTC. Today we have quite a nice list of people on. Let's see if I can bring that list up. We have ZA6YI, Net Control, and then to Paul, OE8PCK, he's in Austria, and then to Great Britain, G8KOE, and then down to South America, Brazil, Papa Yankee 2 Radio November, and then we go to Phil. Just want to see, somebody sent me a message here. To Phil, I hope my audio is okay, it looks like it. To Phil, back in the UK, Mike 0 Papa India Tango, and then to Bert, Papa Alpha 3 Alpha Oscar Delta in the Netherlands, to Brian in the UK, G6 HFS, and down to near Cape Town, Worcester, a guy called Leon, ZS1 Mike, he's going to show us his bat receiver, and then all the way up to Spain, Alberto, Echo Alpha 3 Golf November uniform, and then to the UK, Nick, G4IMH, and then we also have Frank, ZS6 Golf Echo in Pretoria, and we've also been joined by another Frank, Golf 8 Papa Quebec Hotel. Those are the guys I have at the moment. Let's just go back to the main scene. So we do, of course, want to thank the Qatar satellite company for allowing us the opportunity to be on one of their commercial satellites with our amateur satellite, which was developed by the German amateur satellite fraternity, which is AMSAT DL. We also wish to thank AMSAT United Kingdom and, of course, the British Amateur Television Club. Those are three wonderful sites to go and have a look at if you are interested in coming onto DATV. Without their help, I don't think many people would have been on. There are, of course, also software developers like Fox 5 OEO, Fox Echo 1 Juliet Lima Papa, and is it Juliet Lima Papa or Juliet Echo Papa? And, of course, Tom ZR6 Tango Whiskey. And we also have Owen ZS1 SCI. In fact, I'm using his latest software. He launched it last night. I had a pre-version yesterday. He launched it last night and I got it going this morning. So it seems to be working out okay. Yeah, quite a nifty program actually, to be honest. So there we go. Right, let's see. First on the list will be you, Paul, in Austria. If you wouldn't mind taking it, please, sir. Ocean Echo 8 Papa Charlie Kilo. And you pass it to Martin from ZA6 Yankee India.
So, quick sound check to see if things are working. Yeah, it's working. Okay, very good afternoon, good morning and good evening to everybody on frequency. And yes, I hope my picture's a little bit better than last week. I have found out something about the sound, which I've corrected, but there's even more corrections to do, I think. And we'll see what happens. Yes, what have I been doing, or what's happening? I sent one of the mini tunes with the Pico, which I built to Benno in the Netherlands, so he could check through it to make sure that the hardware is really working properly, and he's done that. Thank you very much, Benno, if you're watching. And it's on its way back to me now. So I've got a reference mini tune with a Pico, which I know hardware wise works. So now all I have to do is try and get the software to work. Up to now I haven't. Well, I have. It works, but cuts out. So it could be a hardware problem. That's what I was worried about. And now, as I said, Ben has checked it through, and I'll see if the problem still exists. If it does, then I'll have to have a word with Tom and see if he can help me even more. Yeah, apart from that, I'm quite happy with the situation at the moment. It seems to be working. I've got FEC of 2-3. I've changed the audio codec to AC3 and mono. And what I've just tried earlier, I don't want to mess about with it now, but changing the number of or the bits, but then I couldn't get the DATV to start properly, so I'll have to have a look at that during the week. I've got a question for Martin. You've got DATV Red running perfectly, and I'd like to know, because I'm never quite sure, what hardware do you really need to run a DATV Red? I run Pluto and the software OBS Studio and DATV Easy, and of course the Open Tuner from ZR6TG, and I'd like to know what you need, or how you what you need for a DATV Red. So with that, I'll give the microphone on the picture to let me see now, to Martin. Golf 8 Kilo Oscar Echo. Please take the microphone, and let's see if I can put up. Yeah. Okay.
Right, let's see if we got a bit of sound. Looks like we have. Let's make sure we talk into the microphone. I'm using an i7 13th generation. It's a reasonably fast machine, but I think if I read Ohan's information, sort of reckoned that a 5-year-old computer is quite capable of doing it. It's not as resource hungry as one might first think, but I'm using software encoding, not hardware encoding, even though I've got the graphics, and everything's working on the one machine. Let's go there. DATV Red, which is the latest version 4.9, is running there alongside the OBS, which is what I use. There's lots of things hidden in there, including one bit which was, I think, been specially written for me, as I was told by Ohan. You can break it by playing there, but there is some reset all encoder option, and I think it resets when you relaunch the program to default settings. So lots of things to play with, but you only need to take it as far as you want to. You don't have to have all the bells, whistles and things, and you can turn lots of things off, on and off, which makes it quite versatile. If I can get it to work, then anybody can, because I don't know what I'm doing, but very, very pleased with that. And on the the other side of things is the Pico tune, which is what I'm using at the moment to receive. He says it's not good looking at yourself. Let's go to the other camera. that's it sitting, doing its thing. And thanks to Mike for the board design. Did work out well. Did have some problems, which I'll go into a little bit. Let's find some pictures. I'm a bit almost embarrassed with the filing that I did at the back, but so you'll have to ignore that. It's the holes that I made weren't up to the usual standard. But I blame it on the eyes. That's what I will do. Let's go to the centre screen. So that's my start off with the Pico on there, doing initial tests. And yes, I know there's a 3 amp fuse, but I'm actually not using that at the moment, that section, and I will put a 1 amp fuse in, but that's all I had, or a lower fuse. There she blows. That's it in its box, working away. And we'll go past those two there. But yeah, the problem I had is that I thought, let's go back to the beginning. I'd try, being it's got the Ethernet side of things, I'd try Brian's software and have a play around. And to put it into boot select mode, you push the little button that's nearest the USB connection there, and it comes up as a drive as such, and you can drop the file in and away you go. By coincidence, after putting Brian's software in, which was nothing to do with his software, I couldn't get boot select anymore. To sort of cut a long story short, I spent absolutely ages going around thinking, because ever since I had the board, it seemed to be a bit fussy with Windows 11 and seemed to work on the Windows 10 machine most of the time. So I assumed that it was probably one of those sort of silly things that you get with Windows 10, 11 or whatever. But then got some help from Phil, and we did some sort of testing and such like that, and seeing what results he got with his. Because in the device manager, after putting Brian's Ethernet sort of software on, is you had a reset would appear there with a nice triangle against it. Anyway, after sort of playing around for most of the afternoon and dismantling and taking it out of the case, so I had just the board, etc. and that, eventually find that the push button is open circuit. Shorting it out and you're straight into boot select mode every time. So there's me looking for something complicated, when in fact it was just a switch, a push button switch, and I think it'd been dodgy from day one. So just a warning there. And I'm not looking at the chat, so if anybody's made any comments on the chat, no, can't see anything there. But did like the board there, Mike, and putting the regulators on and that weren't as much of a problem as I thought it was going to be, even with my tired old eyes. So congratulations on that, really good job. So we're testing at the moment, as I said, for DATV Red 4.9, and also the Pico tune, which so far has been working okay. Right, that's a long sort of waffle from me, but mainly all to do with the push switch. Are you planning to fit the LNB spot? No, I'm not. So I know I don't actually need the other bit. I put the regulator on just in case I did at some stage want to do that route. But at the moment, I'm just running it off the USB there, Mike, and seems to be quite happy. Yeah, no, it's all good. I just thought it was easier to put the regulator in now, even though I didn't put the little one in. But probably not. You can run it off 12 volts without the LNB supply. Yeah. But the that'd be the tuner would be run off, but the Pico would get its supply. Am I correct from the USB side of things? Not that that's a problem. I did have one stage that it did lock up a little bit, and I think it's where I've been playing around with things. I had to disconnect the and reconnect it. Yeah, yep. Once I get it working on Ethernet, I'm hoping that it'll work with OpenTuner. That's what I'd like to use it with. But yeah, no, I've got to say congratulations on the board and everything else. So thank you. Right, I think it's Ed next, isn't it? So let's pass it round to Ed. And I'll say 7.3s from G8KOE. Put down test card, and it's all yours there, Ed.
Good morning, evening, afternoon, everybody. Papa Yankee 2 Radio November here. I'm trying to operate 2 satellites at the same time. I'm a little bit confused, but I'm trying to work on IO-117 green cube at the moment. If I can show you guys, it's at the moment it's here, so it easily covers 4 continents. It's that's the current position, we are making few QSOs. This is a digital satellite, a mono channel, operates on UHF, and it's cool. It's really cool. High altitude. Actually, it's a MEO, MEO, and I don't know if I can show you the screen with the QSOs being made. Let me see if I can switch. No. Is it here? No. Yeah. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, those are those are the QSOs being made. The green lines, it's someone that called me. I tried to send a 73 to this guy, but it didn't went through. Yeah, the problem with mono-channel satellites is that it's difficult to find a a spot. Yeah, here it comes. I sent a couple of times 73 to him. As you can see on the orange lines, and satellite repeated my 73 to November 3 Delta Whiskey Bravo. Everything is done by digital mode. It's 1200 baud the speed, and it's just short messages. Actually, you can put any message that you want. Here is Bert Fox Golf 8 Oscar Juliet, and a couple stations from Europe. Yeah, pretty much it. That's a very nice satellite for sure. And it stays on the air about more than 1 hour. Yeah, it stays more than 1 hour. It's cool. Operates on UHF 435-310 plus minus Doppler, and that's about it. Switching to the camera again. I think that's the camera. Okay. So just would like to say hello to all the participants on the net today. Nice work there, Martin, with the Pico tuner, and Paul. Hope the board you sent to Benno will work fine. And Gary, nice to see you. Also gonna be glad to see Phil, Bert, Brian, Leon, Alberto. Buenos dias, Nick and Frank. So that's it from me, guys. I hope my audio went through. I'm not sure because I'm using lots of virtual audio cables here, and it's easy to make some confusion. So passing to Phil. Mike 0 Papa India Tango. Please go ahead, Phil. This is Papa Yankee 2 Radio November. Back to you, Phil.
Right, have I got audio? Should have audio. Wait for it to come back. Yeah, that's good enough for me. Well, good afternoon, good evening, morning, wherever you are. Nice to be on the Sunday net again. I won't be on for too long. What have I been up to? Well, basically two things. I decided just quickly yesterday to do some VLF and just receive it, and I decided to put my little, what they call it, E-field antenna up as high as I can to see if I could pick anything up, and much to my astonishment I connected the signal into my Plessy receiver, which will go down to, it goes down to about 10 kilohertz, but I plugged it into there, and much to my astonishment I was able to pick up the Russian signal on 18.1 kilohertz. So that was a bit of a success. Not that I could decode anything, but it just meant that it was working. So that was good. And the other thing that I've been doing, like Martin I suppose, is building the old Pico tuner, and with the stock firmware and open tuner I can get it to talk and do the business, so that's great. But I need it to be standalone, and I need to connect to it over Ethernet. So I decided to load the I forget what version it is, but it's the latest version. I don't think it's not released, but anyhow I put it on, and it did pick up an IP address, which it should have done. So it picked up an IP address. It sent out a broadcast packet every second, which it's supposed to do, and that's it there. So that was okay. And that's really as far as I got with it, purely because I wasn't able to communicate with it via USB other than serial coming out of it, and I wasn't able to get a connection over Ethernet. Even with a port scan, it showed up that there was nothing available, and that's really as far as it's as it got. I know that Brian's going to talk about Pico tuner over IP, so I'm hoping that Brian will enlighten me as to what on earth I'm doing wrong and how he uses his. So I'm quite looking forward to that. But apart from that, all I've done is keep out the rain, and today been in the garden to cut the grass. But it's a lovely sunny day up here. It's been a lovely sunny day all morning. It's been really, really nice. So it was quite nice being in the garden and doing some mowing, etc. Let's have a look on the chat. I'm going out of focus, am I? Shouldn't be. Yeah, alright, I'm back in focus again. Anyhow, that's enough from me. Who's next on the list? Bert. So I'm going to hand over to Bert. So let me do my normal thing of putting up a test card. And then I shall hand it over to...
Yep, that's me. Yep. Okay, yeah, thanks Phil. You talk about sunny weather. Now, over here it's raining today. Yeah? Raining and lots of raining. But on the moment it's dry, but we have not seen any sun yet. This morning, maybe 5-10 minutes, that was all the sun, and for the rest only rain. Eh? Yeah, about mowing the lawn. Yeah, I'm happy now with my robot lawnmower, and he does the job for me. Yeah. So I can sit in the garden, take a beer, and watch. Yeah. Yeah. And been busy with the QRL. I did some small things on the hobby, and yeah, I can show you maybe something. Let's see if we can switch over to the other one. Hoppa. Yep. That's what we see now is the 10 gigahertz transmitter. It's not fully working completely, but I got some RF signals on 10 gig, and that's the positive side. So doesn't work. Maybe I don't know if it is. You can see it with the lights. That's maybe a little bit difficult always, but anyway, there is some signal. Amplifier states it's just a small resistor to. That has to be replaced by the output FET, but at the moment I got yeah, around 20 dBm on the output, so it's working anyway. And I will continue that. It's not a daily job, but so now and then I'm playing with it. Let's see. Yeah, all the things I have to play with is yeah, with the Raspberry Pi 4. This one has to build for the Potsdam, the Potsdam 4, but without LCD display. Yeah? So just the small board. I want to put it in one box together with the Pico, so I got a very small mobile system and accessible by web page. That is also to do. But anyway, I got my new Raspberry Pi. This is the number 4, not a 5, the 4. Maybe it works also the 500, no, but probably not. So I keep it first by number 4. And for the rest, yeah, it shows just about the satellites. I just received as a small gift from someone in a small box. Maybe you guys know it. Yeah, I don't know if you see it. I have to install that also to play with it, see what it does. And yeah, maybe it's something the IO-117 maybe can also make some context then in the near future. I see that yeah, brought yeah, I would say that you can see it from what is it, South America to yeah, the northern part of Europe, to the Netherlands anyway. And that's all from this side. I'll make it not too long because there's a long list, and I thought it was Brian wants to tell something about the Pico tuner over IP. I see on the list, and more people are interested in Pico than probably my stuff. Eh? So Brian, to you the system. I will listen then to you and watch also about the Pico tuner. Eh? Golf 6 Hotel Fox Sierra from Papa Alpha 3 Alpha Ostar Delta.
Oh, just check audio. Yep, sounds we have. Just mute that. Check audio. Yeah, good afternoon, morning, evening, everybody. Yeah, I've been playing a wee bit with the latest Pico Tuner Rev 3, but I'll stick shaky cam on later. I did put the LNB supply in mine, and it's all working, giving out faults as it should, but not using at present. Basically, yeah, Braun's latest firmware, another Braun, we're getting about. Yeah, that just sorted out a problem with the Ethernet chip not resetting on power up, which is sorted. Basically it's over Ethernet only, but you can use the USB port as a info guide, as a feedback, so you can see what's going on. It gives you all the information. I've got a little video, I'll let it run and you can see it operating. Basically the bottom window is the feedback over Telnet. I must point out this is all done on PC Windows. I don't have a dedicated Linux machine, so can't really help on that front, but here we go. There you go. As you can see, the bottom of the screen is flashing a wee bit. That's the diagnostics panel. If you adjust the window size, it does flicker a wee bit, but as you can see, it's giving me out the info of, at the top line it's got the IP address, the base port address, and it's telling you it's got success on the IP on the right of .67 at the end, which is what I'm using. Then you can see in the status lines there's two signals, and their MERs and everything, and that is straight off the USB port, giving you the diag information. And as you can see, there's two windows at the top displaying over IP on that IP address. So that's how that basically all works. It is in his notes, he does put notes in how to set it up, but basically you use Telnet, or others are available to talk to it, and you'll need to find out the COM port address as well, so you can use your Telnet program. And let's show you some quick pickies. Right, there we go. That's the LNB part. Come on, focus. So yeah, that's it, all built up and working. There's the front. the rear. Let's get that, a bit for the rear. And there we go. And then back to me. So that's what I've been up to. I'll say been quite successful. It's been running a fair while over Ethernet. Not sure if there's going to be a double version where you can switch between the two on one software package. At the moment you have to load it separately if you just want to use it on USB or Ethernet. Not both at the moment. And Martin, comment you made about your button not working. If you also read the information, there's some software that does that for you. The latest firmwares allow you to send a command to put it into boot mode. You don't need to push the button because it's a bit awkward when you've got lid on. But there is some software to do that. Right, we'll hand it round. Let's put up a test card and we're off to Africa, aren't we? To Leon, ZS1 Mike from G6HFS.
Okay, thanks Brian. Over to Africa doesn't sound good. South Africa sounds better. Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all on the satellite. Okay, let me just check. Paul was okay. Yes, Paul, your video is definitely better today. Your audio is fine. Martin, yeah, your Pico thing. And Martin, you were talking to Phil, was it yesterday or the day before, about a DF antenna that you used many years ago, which you said was very good. It had a very good null behind it. I need to chat to you about that at some stage. So dig out the drawings, please. And Ed, yeah, I cannot get very excited about digital satellites. It's too impersonal. Yeah, the fact that it's high is nice, and you have a long window. But no, it sounds too much like packet radio to me. Okay, Phil, yes, you definitely went completely out of focus for quite a while, and then you just came back. I don't know why that happened. Bert, yes, that looks like a nice 10 gig transmitter, quite involved. I wonder whether you had the board made or whether it's a board that you can buy or something, because I can see it's on one of those fancy giggle substrates. Definitely the stuff you need for 10 gigs. It's either that or the Teflon ceramic, which I used at work a lot of times for the high gigs. Yeah, 10 gig finals, hey, they're not so plentiful. Okay, Brian, yeah, nice over from you, showing us the Pico 3, but your aspect ratio on your shaky cam is out. Your capacitors were not round, they were oval. So yeah, okay, right. Gary says I'm going to say something about the bat thing. Okay, I've finished it in the end. There's my component layout. That's what the thing looks like basically. And that block there is the variable inductor which I use for tuning. That row of caps there, I actually only have 2 fitted. Those are for changing the bands, but I found that the 2 is enough. You cover wide enough with that. and they actually overlap with the range you have on that. Okay, that's the component layout. This is the actual board. That's the size of the PC board. And that variable inductor, now this thing's not going to want to focus. I'll have to help it. But this is what it looks like. And it's a multi-turn variable inductor. I didn't even measure the inductance, the maximum and minimum. It's multi-turn. Because it's such low frequencies, it's basically just above audio frequencies. A normal tuning capacitor just won't make it. So I stumbled across these. I don't know where I got them from. I've got a number of them. And I just tried it, and yeah, it was in the right range, and it tunes very nicely. And it's got a standard, what's it, quarter-inch shaft, so a knob fits on it. So I can switch bands, and I can tune. Okay, here's the thing, the final product boxed. Little speaker, on-off switch, and next to the on-off switch is the charging socket. And then here we have the band switch, just a toggle switch, 3-position. In the middle, both caps are disconnected. That's just the residual capacitance. That's the highest band, and it works quite well. So that's the one, and that's the other cap. That's the variable inductor that you can tune. It's quite a number of turns. And oh man, that one is volume. And this is the microphone socket. I've got it just on a short leash. This is not the proper mic that one should use. I must still try and order one of those ones that are guaranteed to go up to 100 kcs or something. But as it is, it works pretty well. I've heard some weird insects on it, and I've heard bats on it. I'm taking it to my friend's farm tomorrow evening. I hope they've got bats there now, because the last time I heard bats with this when it was still on a breadboard. Just to show you, I'm going to put this down here, the microphone there, and if the thing will just stay put, I'll put this microphone near the speaker, and these keys, I'll jingle them. But they also make ultrasonic noise. Right, that was from 8 meters away. I moved out of the room. I just quickly pasted down. It's roughly 8 meters, and it picks it up much further than that actually. So it's pretty sensitive. So anyway, yeah, you can switch the bands and you can tune. So that's my bat receiver. Right, over to Alberto. Oh, by the way, I sent a message to the professional DATV station, but he's not answering. I wonder what happened to him. Fabiano. He just vanished. Alberto, Echo Alpha 3 Golf November uniform for the group from ZS1 Mike.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, check. Okay, we have audio. Okay. My bad. So I was... Okay. So I've been talking for myself. Sorry about that. And I'm a professional streamer. Whoa. Okay. So, 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay. I have a producing company. I do live events, and today I did that mistake. But I double checked. So, hello, Alberto, Eco Alpha 3 Golf November uniform in Barcelona. I was telling you that we have a partially cloudy day here in Barcelona. It's been raining for the last couple of weeks, which is good because we are suffering a severe drought here in Catalonia, so all the rain is welcome. I was also telling hello to all the participants in the net and all the possible people that are also watching the net. And I wanted to comment today on 2 things. One thing is the narrowband transponder. I've been active on the narrowband transponder here in Oscar 100 for the first time because I set up all my stations for DATV without putting much effort on the narrowband transponder. But then thanks to the help of a colleague here in Spain, Eco Alpha 2 Alpha Alpha, Chema, I put all the things working for the narrowband transponder. It's been very fun. It's very fun, and so I think we have to be very we are lucky to have it, to have this thing. It's wonderful. So I've been making some contacts and asking people about the setup, the rigs that they use. Most people use DX Patrol up converters and amplifiers from 10 to 20 whiskey. So they don't have the hardware for the ATV, but I contact a couple of stations that they are using Pluto, so they didn't know how to use the Pluto for the ATV, so I offered my help to try to help them to configure the station. That would be just in 1 hour we can put it working for the ATV. One more thing that I wanted to comment. So the narrowband transponder is wonderful. I've been doing CW. I've been doing SSTV even for the first time. I didn't try SSTV ever, so my first time doing SSTV, and also thinking about doing a portable station for the ATV or for the narrowband. Another thing, so I've been also working on a project, a very small project compared to the 10 gigahertz transverter or the BAT receiver, which is amazing. It's so funny, a BAT receiver. Okay, that sounds fun. So I've been doing a let me show you. I've been doing this. So this is an Arduino display. It was showing just the time here sitting on my desk. So I thought maybe I can just make it read a power sensor on the amplifier, connected to the amplifier. So I built the power sensor, which is based on this little power sensor, this AD, it is AD 8131, I think, and then connecting it to a directional coupler, together probably 50 bucks, some attenuators, some cables, and then this is how it looks. Let me show you. So I'll show you my desk. So this is my desk. 1 second. So this is my DATV box, and also by now also the narrowband box. So This is the power amplifier here. Power amplifier connected to the power sensor, and the power sensor is connected to a Raspberry Pi. So the Raspberry Pi is sending MQTT messages, reading this power sensor, and the MQTT messages are being received by this Arduino box, this Arduino Wi-Fi thingy, and showing the power. So right now I'm outputting 28 whiskey. So let me just decrease my power by a little bit. So for instance, now I'm outputting about 38. Let me do this, 38 whiskey, and then, well, so when I turn off the power, it just shows the time, and when I turn on the power, it shows the power. So it's been fun. Also, I know now that with about 30 watts, I can put a good signal on 333 kilosymbols. For 250 kilosymbols, I can use about 20 watts. So I didn't know, and now I know. Okay, so with that, I'm sorry about the beginning of the transmission. With that, I will go ahead and give the floor to Golf 4 India Mike Oscar, Nick. So I will put up just this picture of my window and give the floor to you.
Okay, Alberto, thank you very much. Okay. Just check my audio. Yeah, that's fine. There we are. Yes, good afternoon to everybody. There's a big long list today. I thought I was going to be last on the list, but there's a couple more on there just after me. Anyways, all very interesting so far. It's finally stopped raining here. We've had so much rain, it is unbelievable. But yesterday and today it's been very sunny here. 18 degrees centigrade at the moment here, so looks like summer is on its way. As far as radio is concerned, I haven't been working on very much. So I don't have very much to report. Anyway, just running down the list. Paul from Austria. Your picture quality is a vast improvement on what it was last time. It's excellent quality. Your lip sync is almost spot on as far as I could tell. Look pretty good to me. There is one thing which you might want to check. I took a photograph off the screen on my my ride receiver. Everybody who's been on the net so far, when the station comes on, there's the rider receiver tells you what the audio and the video PIDs are, 256, 257. Everybody else's audio, 257. It shows it as AAC, but on yours, if I can show you this picture, it does not show. Is this going to focus? See if I can show you this. It says 257 6 question mark. Hope you can see that all right. Anyway, so as I say, everybody else who's been on the net, it shows it as AAC. Anyway, I've no idea why. Maybe somebody else who's more knowledgeable will know the answer to that. Yeah, a lot of people seem to be making this new Pico tuner. I've not ventured onto that journey yet, but I assume you use the Pico tuner with Tom's software, and my understanding is that you can then look at two channels at the same time, which will be very useful. But my question is, are you just using, because on the tuner that there's two input sockets, isn't there? So are you using just one input socket to see two channels, or are you feeding signals into the other socket as well? I assume you're just using the one socket, but presumably could you not use the other socket and then you'd have four channels? I don't know. Maybe somebody could explain that. Yeah, okay, Phil, on your LF experiments. I only experiment with LF around Christmas time when SAQ comes on the air, and I sort of connect everything up, and then once they've done their transmission, I sort of pack it all away again till next year. So anyway, all very interesting stuff. What have we got? Pico tuners. Leon, your little receiver there with the microphone, that was very good. Well, yeah, when you were shaking the keys, that was yeah. I think the microphone was quite close to the speaker, so it was very loud. But yeah, okay, on the ultrasonics that they generate. But I see on that little enclosure there, you've got a loudspeaker. Have you put any filtering on the audio? A low pass filter or high pass? No, yeah, low pass filter. Because I made one of those little receivers probably, I don't know, about a year ago, 2 years ago. It was just a simple little circuit off the internet, and the oscillator was a NE555. But I found that the receiver worked fine if you had headphones on, but if you had it coupled to a speaker, the loudspeaker was, the audio from the speaker was feeding back into the microphone. So I don't know, but say it worked fine on headphones. Yeah, Alberto. Yeah, okay. On the narrowband, I did try that once, but I didn't find it wasn't very successful. I used SDR console and the Pluto, and I used the same amplifier setup that I'm using at the moment, and I think that's what the problem was, because on narrowband you only use a fraction of the power that I'm using now, and my amplifier it didn't work very well at all. It was more like a switch, because I was feeding such a tiny signal into it. The signal that you heard on narrowband sounded pretty awful, so I didn't progress that anymore. I've got a Portsdown 4 here, which has got the Langsdown in it, but I haven't tried to use that, but it should be possible to use that. So maybe I'll try that at some stage. Last week, another Windows update seems to have upset my computer again, but not with OBS or anything like that. My wireless printer decided that it didn't want to talk to my computer anymore. So anyway, was surprised myself, and I actually managed to sort that out. It was when you use the computer to do a test print, it all worked fine, but when you went to an email and tried to print out an email, it just didn't print at all. And I discovered that it was sending the message to an old printer that I'd used previously, instead of sending it to the Wi-Fi printer. So anyway, I've now sorted that, and that's now working. Anyway, that's about it, I think. Okay, on the CubeSat. That sounds excellent, but to me that doesn't really interest me. I like to pick up a microphone and actually speak to somebody. I think it's far more interesting. But anyway, okay, that's enough from me. I think I'll pass it round to Frank. ZS6 GE G4 IMO.
Okay. Okay, yeah, works. Good day, everybody. Nice to see you all, and nice list also. Weather report, of course. Glorious day today. 25 degrees, not a cloud in the sky, slight breeze, absolutely marvelous, and that's autumn, so can't complain. Yeah, printers, I know. Printers always give the most problems. They do the weirdest things, or they don't do anything at all, especially if you use them on a network, like I do. And sometimes you do an update, Windows update or something, that was the end of it. Then you have to scratch your head what's going on. Anyway, that's that one. Nothing new to report. There is an irritant which I have for a long time. Minor thing, but if somebody sends a fixed picture, I can see that here nicely, solid, no problem. When I send the fixed picture, then there is a certain, how shall I call it, shimmering or fuzziness that comes and goes, and I can't get rid of it. It doesn't matter what resolution I use or anything else. On some settings it's worse than on others. And I can't figure out what it is. I suspect it is a modulation, because when somebody else sends a picture, it's stable most of the time. Let me just do that here. Okay. Now it's looks like pixelation, but especially on the top where the plants are, the spiky plants, they move and do funny things, and I have no idea what it could cause and how to get rid of it. I'm using soft encoding, but the computer is loafing along. It's running at 20% or something like that. So it shouldn't be a CPU problem, and on video I don't notice it, but on a fixed picture like that. And like I said, right now I have a fairly high resolution, but even if I reduce it, I go up or go down, or use 2/3 error correction or 3/4, minor differences, no idea what's causing it. Okay, if anybody has an idea, I would like to know about it. Okay, let me put the camera back on again. Right. Yeah, and that's it already. I pass it on to my namesake, G8PQH, Z6 Golf Echo.
Thank you very much, Frank. This is another Frank, G8PQH, in sunny, well, not very sunny today, Celsibill. Very good afternoon, or good evening, and good morning to everyone. It's ages since I've been on. Let's just check I've actually got some audio. Yep, it's ages since I've been on. There you go, I've got plenty of audio. But it's very nice. I have been catching up with the net on YouTube. It's very useful that Gary puts that on, and yes, I agreed actually with a couple other people. Paul OE8 PCK, your pictures were better than I'd seen before. Mine looked rather jerky for some reason, but anyway. Alberto EA3GNU and Bert PA3AOD. I don't think I've been on when you've been on before, so it's very nice to meet you for the first time on the net. I also use the same amplifier as Alberto, and have got a system suggested actually by can't remember now who suggested it, but I'm feeding a low-level signal from another Pluto into the amplifier. So I have the Pluto for DATV is sort of with the amplifier behind the dish, and I'm feeding another Pluto that I use for some time for narrowband, but feed the output from that through a very long lot of RG58 and a splitter, and run that at a low level into the amplifier, and it does work pretty well. And the reason for doing that, I've got a GPS stabilization Leo Bodner thing on that narrowband Pluto, as it's a later one that can take an input, while the one I use for DATV is an older one, because you obviously don't need the frequency stability so much. Rather impressed thinking about Bert's robot lawnmower. And also very interested in Ed's experiments with Green Cube as well. I know what people mean about FTH style messaging. It can it's interesting in itself, but sometimes you do get sort of thinking, well, it's all a bit impersonal. The local radio hams around here near Chelsea are all in their Seal Island radio group, and they're all HF operators. I sort of miss out a bit on that, not having a lot of space for antennas here where I am, but my loop antenna project is still a half-finished project, along with various other half-finished projects that I need to get on. But actually think a half-finished Pico tuner project might be the next one. I think if I have the Pico tuner and I put the video through over the Ethernet into the house, then I won't have to tidy up the shack. I can sort of operate from the kitchen or somewhere like that, can't I? Because then I can stream the video back from a laptop to the transmitter over Ethernet as well, because that's what I'm doing at the moment. Anyway, that's enough waffle for me. I'm going to put it back to put up a test card and put it back to Gary. So ZS6YI and the group. This is G8PQH. If I can find where I put my test card. How about this is G8PQH, handing it back to you, Gary.
Okay, we're back on. Oh, it's been a very interesting net so far, I must say. And just want to quickly bring up the screen. Right, so Paul, OE8 PCK, beautiful signal compared to last week. Major difference, really, really good. So well done. Martin, always a great signal from you. I see you also playing with version 9. Is it? Yeah, version 4.9. So it seems to be working out quite well. And then Ed, yeah, quite a joke on that poor guy with his head. I was waiting for something similar to come up, and very interesting on the satellite. I'm with Leon there. I'm not really that keen on digital stuff, but you get guys that love it. So I'm sure many people will have a lot of fun with that. And then Phil, yeah, excellent signal from you. Perfect, no problem. And interesting over from your side. Bert, Papa Alpha 3 AOD. Nice big picture today with the red shirt there. Looked really good. And all good on your signal. Brian, yeah, also interesting on the Pico tuner over LIP. What is it? Or you? No, I don't know. I can't read it. But very good indeed. And nice signal always from your side. And interesting comments you sometimes make on the BATC page. Okay, Leon, yeah, that was a nice demo. And I hope you can feedback next week on how it performed with bats. I looked out last night. It seems to be bat season's over for a while, although there were a few things flying around. Normally we have some bats here at the river, and you can you can see them flying and eating up mosquitoes and all sorts of things that fly around. Alberto, very, very nice signal from you. Great audio, great picture. In the beginning, of course, you just you tested, you got audio, and then you left it. But doesn't matter, it happens to all of us. But excellent signal, really nice indeed. Nice, clear picture and good lighting. That's your game, eh? Nick, always a good signal from you. And a very good point you make on the filter for the speaker. Or you need a filter on the microphone so you don't pick it up, you don't have feedback. But whichever way. Frank, yeah, sorry, I didn't get back to you the other day. I've been so darn busy, man. I had people from Germany there, from BMW, Germany, Munich, and it was hectic. And I've got more people from Australia next week, so I'm going to be quite busy. But I'm wondering if you're not running out of a bit of memory. Maybe you need a little bit more memory because you're receiving it okay. Your video is fine. And I did notice that slight bit of, I wonder what one call it, but a bit of interference on it. So I'm just wondering if you have enough RAM in your system to handle that. It could be that dumping and then you're getting that shimmer effect. But if you didn't mention it, we wouldn't have noticed it, to be very honest, but I know it irritates you, so perhaps you can just have a look at that. I don't know what else to suggest there, really. You can, well, you have played with different FEC rates, so that hasn't helped. Maybe just look at your camera as well. You've not got a camera now. You're using it straight off a picture, but you can maybe look at the size of that picture and reduce that a little bit on OBS. I presume you're feeding it through OBS. So maybe just cut that down a bit so you don't have so much data trying to get through. Okay, Frank, yeah, always nice to see you, and nice to see you back again. Yeah, I've been playing around with an interesting thing. Let me just see if I can get it here quickly. I got a new, well, it's a second hand actually, but it was in excellent condition. Let's see if I can get it though. Just, there we go. Now, let's see if this works. I laugh it does. There we go. I've got the power meter on top, and then a very accurate, goes up to 18 gigs. It's a 5342A Hewlett-Packard microwave frequency counter. And so I put a very narrow signal. It doesn't pick it up when it's DSTV. So I go on the very narrow signal where you just put a carrier, and that's my uplink. So I'm dead on frequency, and it seems to be working out okay, so I'm happy about that. And I just want to check on the receiver now, because everything is GPS locked at the moment. And yeah, I'm dead on frequency on the downlink as well. So that was me playing around with that a bit. It's actually quite easy on DATV Red, for example. If you want to put a carrier on, you just go into your mode, and instead of DVB 2S or TS, DVB2, you just click it and you go. And hopefully my signal's back. Let's just see. Yeah, there we are. So that is a narrow signal, and that one I've got spot on frequency as an uplink. Of course, on DATV, it's not necessary really. Now, why am I not locked? Oh, I'm watching the YouTube channel. So that's what I've been playing around with. Anyway, I'll make this the final over because the net's quite long, but we'll just quickly go over and bring in Paul, Ocean Echo 8 Papa Charlie Kilo. If you take it right through, I'll say 7-3, but keep the net open, and then right at the end, Frank, if you don't mind closing the net, Ocean Echo 8 Papa Charlie Kilo to take it from Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India.
Now the sound should be here. Now the sound should be... Okay, that's fine. Lovely. Well, thank you very much for all the interesting information. And I've been busy making notes, and I hope I can read everything. Thank you very much, Martin, for the information about Node-RED. I think I'll leave it at the moment, to be quite honest. I'll be happy when I've got the things that are running at the moment to run properly. And Alberto, I like the power reading system. At the moment, I'm in the throes of trying to get a new amplifier so I get a bit more power out, so I can increase the bandwidth a little bit. So, and that's one of the things I want to add to it as well. Those power splitters are really good. And I've got it ready there, over there, to be sorted out. Nick, thank you very much for all the information. I've changed the sound now to AAC. I don't know whether it's made any difference, but perhaps you can have a look. I had AC3 before. Let me have a look. That's right. Yes, the other thing is using the DATV amplifier for narrowband. I did try it as well, and it was very distorted. So with the new amplifier, I say we because a friend of mine is helping me. The bias is going to be switched on the transistor to accommodate for SSB. And the last thing I want to talk about is the lawnmower. They call them robo sheep here, and I think nearly everybody has got one. They're very, very useful. They've got their own little houses. They go in there to charge up, and you can just watch them working. It's very, very nice. Anyway, I wish everybody a very nice week, and thank you very, very much for running the net. Gary, and very, very nice. and I hope at least my signal is a little bit better this week. Microphone and video go to Martin. Yeah, over to you. I'll put up a test card and I'll say 73 to everyone. So let me see if I can get this sorted out without messing things up.
Right, from G8KOE, hopefully with some sound, maybe. Yep, let's mute that. I'll move the keyboard away. That's because the cat was up here. Before I forget, the aerial there, Leon, that I used whenever I did DFM was an HB9 CV. So if you just type HB9 CV into the browser, you'll find you'll get all sorts of things will come up with lots of dimensions. So I did put it on the chat, but I'm not sure whether you monitor the chat. But that's the sort of aerial, and it had a nice null on the back. Worked exceedingly well. That's what I used to use anyway. Easy to construct, and relatively small. I used to use it on 2 meters. Let's go back to the main one. Yeah, fine there on the little script there, Brian. Batch file. I haven't tried it, but I was more chasing a fault of why I couldn't get it in when pushing the button. Now that I know the button is faulty, it's not a problem. If I need to get it into place when I've got it in part, I can do. But we'll give that a try. I want to have another try with the firmware, the new Brian's firmware. But I wanted to also test the tuner, which has been working not bad at all. I did have problems with Frank's signal, whether it was him, that's G8PQH. It was all stuttery, but I didn't have another receiver to hand easily, so whether that's what his transmission was like, it was all stuttering with me. And for your signal, Brian, HFS, it took longer to lock in. In fact, I had to reselect you, and I didn't get to look at the frequency. I've got a funny feeling your frequency is slightly different to a lot of others, but once locked in was okay. But yeah, on the whole, seems to be working out not bad at all. We'll do lots of tests. I was looking at the shoulders on the signal that's on the 333 up towards the beacon. Why? Yes, come on, reduce your signal. Shoulders and a half. Right, I'll carry on testing the 4.9, which is DATV Red, which is working exceedingly well. And see there, Paul, it's probably it takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you've got into the theme of it, but you don't have to have DATV Red that complicated. You can have it as simple as you want it. You don't have to have half the things displayed. I just like trying to display absolutely everything, so don't necessarily be put off with it. Perhaps put it on the back burner for now and come back to it, but you're doing well. You're making a lot of progress, and all good. Right, this is a fairly big net. It's been rather good. Some useful information, and yeah, I think I need one of those lawnmowers. I hate cutting the lawn, I really do. It's a fairly reasonable size lawn. Oh, I didn't comment on the back receiver. Yeah, that looked exceedingly good there. Perhaps I should build one. I've been using the SDR, which I can most nights hear bats, but I've not seen them in the garden lately. But that's interesting. Right, round to you there, Ed. Get ready with your. I was trying to think of some comment to make, but yeah, I'm not a digital person but a lot of people are interested in that, and I like watching other people sort of doing it, but I can't get inspired myself. But all very interesting. It takes me back to the old weather satellites when I used to predict those, or get the run the programs and scan the images in, etc., etc. The old NOAA ones, etc. This is close as I got to, and that was automated at one stage. I had a program on the PC that grabbed 4 pictures, but I think most people seem to have done that in the past. But anyway, I'll pass it on to you there, Ed, and I'll say 7-3 to everybody, and thanks to Gary for running the net. From Golf 8 Kilo Oscar Echo.
Okay, thank you, Martin. Golf 8 Kilo Oscar Echo, Papa Yankee 2 Radio, November, coming back. It's 11:28 local time, 29 degrees. We are almost on winter, and the temperature is gonna reach probably up to 35 degrees around 3 p.m. Yeah, it's been a very unusual weather this year here. I'm about 1,000 kilometers from the south of Brazil, and those guys, unfortunately, they are drowning. So much rain. About 60 people already dead. So it's incredible. So just 1,000 kilometers make this, and we are facing this dry season. Not a drop from the sky. Yep, nature is acting strange. The bad news for the guys there that are against digital modes, just to remember you that you're just streaming a big data file right now, which is being streamed and downloaded by your computer and decoded at the same time. But to get you guys even more disgusted, I'm using a lot of FT8 on the narrowband, and I know that Alberto mentioned the narrowband activity, and lately I'm doing a lot of FT8 and FT4 on the narrowband. It's really fun. I mean, it's not about the end of the. The objective is not to do digital or analog or anything. The main objective is the technical challenge. To get on IO117 Green Cube, I can assure to you guys that it's extremely more difficult than to get on QO-100. It's much more difficult than get to QO-100. So the technical challenge is great. DATV as well is a technical challenge. Well, everything is a technical challenge. And what I do to keep, if I'm interested only on the technical challenge, so let's suppose DATV. If I'm only interested on technical challenge, okay, I will check. I will do everything to receive the DATV, fine. I will do everything to transmit the DATV, fine. So I did that. So I don't need to keep using it anymore. So I just jump to another project or to another mode or to another. I go fish, the way I try to find some ways to keep using what I accomplish. I mean, for satellite is working different grid locators or different DXCC entities, as well as HF. For 160 meters, that's a band that I aim to work 100 different DXCC entities on 160 meters, and that's gonna be almost impossible to get those on CW or SSB. So we must go through digital modes, which is FT8. Not because I love FT8, but that's a way to get the objective I want. Well, basically that's it, guys. Very interesting projects everybody showed here. Very interesting information. As again, a very interesting net, so but a long one. So I'm gonna finish here saying goodbye to everyone. Thank you for joining the net. I wish you a great upcoming week, and hope to see you all next weekend as well. 73 from Brazil. This is Papa Yankee 2 Radio November, passing on to Phil, Mike 0 Papa India Tango. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Ed. I think I've got audio. OBS tells me I have, so it should be coming here. There she is, coming back. Yeah, digital modes. Yeah, I was into digital modes, and yeah, it was great. Well, I had the interest, and that's the problem with me. If once I've done it, all the technical challenge has gone, I sort of lose interest. I suppose the one thing with digital TV is that it is a challenge all the time, so my interest is still here. But I don't know what I'll do when my interest wanes a bit. I don't know if I will go up in higher frequencies or what, I don't know. But at the moment, digital TV, it keeps my brain going. Yeah, let's go back to the old Pico tuner. Brian, thanks for your comments about quick tune. That's answered quite a few questions that I had that I couldn't answer, but just by mentioning quick tune, yeah, I now understand. The question, but I won't be using, or I don't want to use quick tune. So the question I have for you is, can I use Winterhill, the Winterhill client? If I can, how do I go about displaying 6 screens instead of 4? But that's the question I've got. That'd be interesting. Yeah, see what the answer is. I know there's some jumpers on the Pico tuner. As you can see, that's the jumper that I've put in, and that gives you screens 5 and 6. So I presume it's just something to do with that. What do I need to do to display 6 screens on the Winterhill client? Anyhow, that's enough for me. It's big net. Thoroughly enjoyed it as always. I wish everybody a good and happy week, and the weather is kind to everybody. Over here at the moment the sun's gone in and it looks like some heavy cloud, but it's not raining, but it probably will rain later. But I've cut the grass, so that's the main thing. So I'm going to hand it over now to Bert. Oh, I see Brian's put something up on the chat. Not sure on that one. Perhaps Tom can answer that. Okay. Right. Right, and where am I? Bert. So I'm going to hand it over to Bert. So this is M0PIT. I'm going to put up a test card and then kill.
Let's see. Yep, that's me again. Okay. Yeah, see, is correct. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Phil. It's PH3 AOD. Yeah, short. A question for Leon, man. He says he had an oh, came out a little bit high, baby. He has a tunable coil there for the bed of here, but how do you know what frequency is the bed? How can you tune it? Or do you have to tune it? I don't know what sounds the bed makes. So the question is more from how do you know it is bed and not something else? About the PCB material, that's Russia's 4003, 4003. It's 0.8 millimeters thick. Yeah, what was more? I want to tell you more, but I lost it at the moment. Okay, no, it doesn't matter. We'll say everybody have a nice week. See you next time, probably next week or something like that. And then we see what we have to tell then. Okay. No, I can't remember what I want to tell. Okay, after the 70 freeze and the microphone, then that's the wrong list. To Brian. Golf 6, Hotel Fox Sierra, from Pop Alpha 3, Alpha Oscar Delta.
G6 HFS. Let's check. G6 HFS. Right. Hi. Well, good afternoon all. Again. Very good session. Just going to check my frequency according to my ride. I'm 268. What am I supposed to be? 250? Okay. 18k high I've got. I could lower it. But not as bad as some. Oh well, there we go. Turn the info back off. Just a quick one for Leon. I think I've corrected this. Let's have a look. There we go, they look round. Something I'd never checked actually, ever since I've had the Polycom plugged in. Anyway, I've changed its video mode, so hopefully that sorts a few things out. And yeah, as for IP on the Pico tuner, yeah, I am using the latest version of Viewer mic, if you're listening. It does a total of 16, which is crazy. Let's see if we can just change cameras again. And if we go down here, how many windows would you like? 16? Some of the bottom ones are IP, but so I can use a few windows. But yeah, that's what I'm using. I'm not sure how it runs under Linux. I've not tried it on a Windhill, so I've not played. So perhaps it's something I can look at if I find myself 5 minutes twiddling my fingers. Right, I'll say 7 threes to everybody. Been a good one again this afternoon, and I'll send it round to South Africa this time. So this one, Mike from G6HFS.
Okay, thanks, Brian. Highly appreciated. Okay, before I forget, let me just... Okay, Paul is okay. Martin, thanks for the DF antenna. Dope, Martin. I'll have a look into that. Ed, yeah, it's not about the technical challenge. For me, DATV, I know too little about it. I cannot manage it on my own. I see it as a tool, as an excellent pair of side cutters, because now I can communicate, I can ask questions, I can show you things, and you can show me things. So I think it's absolutely the cherry on top of amateur radio, because you can really, in live terms, share projects, share information. I mean, gee whiz, what more do you want than that? There are other things, I agree with you, challenges, technical challenges. I like doing, although I don't have much time for it lately, but small portable stuff. A tiny handheld battery powered CW transmitter making a contact and things like that. Yes, I'd love to build a small compact portable DATV station. I'm working on it, but I'm not there yet. To easily demonstrate it to people and so on. You know, you can't bring schools and things here into the house, but you can take a small compact unit. The ports down transmitter was ideal because it's all in one box. You just feed it to the amp and a small dish, and there you go, with a ride receiver and so on. But the ports down that I have is not very good. They've upgraded them now. I must see what, but I think they now use PCs and stuff. I'm not sure. But anyway, we'll get there. We'll get there. The whole lot must not be bigger than a shoebox. And a battery and the amplifier, and there you go. Anyway, so it's not that I'm against the digital, because that's a modern way of doing things. I mean, goodness me. Although I must say, analog ATV, yeah, it was much easier and more pleasing, because there was never any jerkiness or pixelation or things like that. If the signal was good, you had a good picture. It just took up like 20 megs of bandwidth. Yeah. Okay, enough about that. Right. Phil, yeah, okay, Bert. The back tuning, Bert, before I forget. Okay. Picture this, a superhead receiver. You have RF amplifiers. I have 2 RF amplifiers here. Oh, yeah, there they are. It's 2 op amps. 2 op amps there. Heavily undercoupled. In other words, only the highest frequencies. I didn't build a proper filter, but just the high frequencies will come through. Between them and from the mic to the first amp, also heavily undercoupled. I think I've got 10 nano or something in there. What does it say here? No, I've got 150 picofarads there from the microphone to the first amp. And then from the first amp to the second amp, I have 470 picos. And then I have 10 nanos from there going into the mixer oscillator, the NE602. So everything is undercoupled to favor extremely high frequencies and in the audio band as little as possible. Now, I don't have the IF coming out of the NE602. I'm not doing any filtering there. That will fall in the audio band because that goes via the volume control with a bit of a cap over it. to make sure none of the ultrasonics come through, goes to the LM386 audio amplifier. So you have like a wide IF. So anything between, say, 100 Hertz and 10 kcs you'll hear. So you'll hear something and then you tune it, and then it comes more into your audio passband of your ear. So you bring it in. So you don't have to be exact, because it's not a narrow IF. You tune it to where you hear it best. So that's what the tuning is for. Because the bats differ, they're not all on the same frequency, and some of the insects are on different frequencies. And it's interesting to hear how the insects chat together. Eh? It's I listen to them sometimes. Can't make out the words. Anyway, so it's about tuning. Brian's aspect ratio is right now, yes. Alberto power meter, yeah. I also have one of those little modules. But yeah, it's not so easy to calibrate them on this digital signal. Frank, the picture cycling, as I call it. Now, I've been aware of that since day one of DATV. You see it on some people's signal. I see it on my own signal. You won't see it on your video because your camera is not very sharp. You only see it when there's very sharp pictures. Like static pictures are brilliantly sharp. So what happens, my observations, if you looked at Ed had a picture there with some trees in the background, and that was also doing it. It gets better, sharper, and it's fuzzy. And then it gets better, sharper, as it samples, you know, filling in all the gaps and getting the detail. And then that rate in the old days with the very first DATV systems, you could set that timing. Nowadays it's all happening behind the screens. You don't know what the thing chooses to do with it. I don't know what it's called, but it is there. Some people like on Phil's signal, it's not there because Phil uses a totally different system. I don't know whether it is the stuff that you have in the Pluto, the firmware in the Pluto, or whether it's in your video encoder. I don't know where that problem sits. I suspect it's in the video encoder. But it's there. It is on most signals, and the higher the symbol rate, the less you see it. But you only see it when it's nice, sharp pictures. Then you'll see it. Especially if the guy changes scenes, it'll be fuzzy, and then it gets sharper, and then it gets sharper. Now, somebody was on now who had a very long cycling time. I think it was Ed? No, it wasn't Ed. It wasn't Phil. Maybe it was Bert. It was like about 10 seconds before it updated, and then it's fuzzy, and then it gets better until when it's now really nice, then it goes back to fuzzy. Most of them do it. Let the boffins explain that to us. But I can tell you now, it's because your still picture is so sharp and your video camera is rather fuzzy, woolly. You won't see it because it doesn't pass that much data through the system. So there's no real sharpness, so you don't see it. But on your static pictures, you do see it. Phil definitely doesn't have it. There are also other stations that don't have it. The picture is always sharp. So that's all I can tell you about that, Frank. When you find the answer, I'd also like to know how we can tune it out or disable it or whatever, because it's been irritating me since day one. All right, Alberto, over to you if you are still there. Yeah, let me see. Bat filtering. Yeah. Yeah, well, okay, I've covered the Nick. I think you're all still listening. As I said, I'm not really passing much audio through it. The front end is is highly undercoupled, so it's just ultrasonics that go through there. So very little of the stuff gets to the final audio. If I hold the microphone right close to the speaker, it will go into very, very high squeaky feedback. But if you have it this far away, it's fine. It doesn't, because I've got a lot of gain in the call it RF amp in the front, and because it's not really T filters or anything, it's just undercoupled to just make the whole thing high pass. So it's not ideal, but it's more than good enough for the application. Right, Alberto, over to you. Echo Alpha 3 Golf November uniform for the group. ZS1 Mike is off, clear, but I'll be listening to the end.
Okay, sound check. All right, now with sound. Okay, so thank you, Leon. So first of all, I think I can put my 2 cents on the problem about the fuzziness of static images. So I'm not an encoding specialist by any means, but I think I understand a little bit how things work. So, or at least I try. So there is something called the keyframe. So we are, first of all, we are using digital encoding systems, right? So our video has to be, and audio has to be encoded, and we are using very, very, very narrow, very narrow, and that is very important. We are using very, very, very narrow channels. So very slow symbol rates. So for instance, we are trying to push 720 over 333 kilosymbols per second. So 1/3 of a mega symbol per second. So for on the old times for sending just PAL signals, so 576p, we used 4 mega symbols on TV, something like that. So we are pushing things to the limit, I think. So we have to see artifacts always. If not, we would be doing magic. So first of all, that we are using slow speeds, slow transmission speeds. So we have to see some low quality stuff. But why do we see it on very sharp images and on still images? Because we are sending the keyframe every let's say 2 seconds, 4 seconds. So every 4 seconds we are sending the whole image. But to send the whole image, we don't have some data available. So we don't have much data available to send the whole image. Then we send the whole image as best as we can with some artifacts, and then we only send differences. So we send details. So then the image starts to be showing sharp, and then we send the full image again. So we don't have much data to send it. We send a very compressed image, and then we send all the rest through this 4 seconds cycle. So on an image like this one, we won't see many differences because we are sending these differences when we move and stuff. But if it is not very, very sharp, then we won't see things. So Frank, for me it looked normal. So your image was normal. But if you see anything different, you could try to record your screen and then share it with us, and maybe we will find what's happening. But for me, the fuzziness was just a normal thing. What else? well, we have a very large net today, so I just wanted to say that I'm using for the narrowband transmissions. I'm using the same amplifier, the same Pluto, the same everything, GPSDO, of course, but my amplifier is the same. So I'm outputting as 1 watt, I think. So with the same Pluto connected with the same preamplifiers, so it's working for me. And I can measure that I'm outputting 1 watt or 2 watts, 2 whiskey or 3 whiskey. If I go on CW, maybe 2 watts. So this amplifier is working for me. And about the technical challenge and all that stuff, Ed and Leon, for me, it's a lot about the technical challenge. So I wanted to accomplish the DATV station, also because it's I think it's so I mean it's the best thing that we can make from today on amateur radio. So I wanted to have it, but then once you have it, you have to use it. So coming, for example, to the net, I think it's a good thing to do. And also sharing a nice conversation, it's also for me important on amateur radio. And also these portable operations, as Leon mentioned, so being able to, just with a tiny antenna, with a tiny pack of batteries and a tiny transceiver, like a pack of cigarettes, right? You are able to do contacts with New Zealand from Europe or something like that. Also for preparedness, no? So I'm ready to communicate with just a thing that weighs a couple of pounds, and I can put on a tree with a lot of people, just for preparedness for I don't know what, but it's also something that moves and interests me a lot. And then for just having a nice time. Okay, so thanks for the very nice net. I'll go ahead and pass the microphone and camera to Nick, Golf 4 India Mike Oscar from Echo Alpha 3 Golf November Uniform. Thank you so much, 73 to everyone.
Yep, okay, Alberto, thanks for that. Yep, okay. Turn that down there. Yeah, thanks for that explanation there. All sounds very, very technical. Yeah, I just operate anyway. I don't do the technicalities. So anyway, it's all very good stuff. Yeah, but Paul, in Austria there, that alteration that you did on your transmission, yeah, it's now showing AAC. So yeah, that's good. That's all working fine. And reading between the chat lines, I take it that yes, you only, if you want to use the Pico tuner with Open Tuner software, you only have to use one input to display 2 channels. So anyway, I shall add that on to my list of projects to make the Pico tuner. That'll be interesting. Right, okay, I'm going to disappear now. Go and have some lunch. It's 4 o'clock. So quite hungry now. So if the sun is out next week, I shall be trying to do some sun noise measurements on my receive setup for the ham TV. So we'll see how we go with that next week. Okay, I'll say cheerio to everybody. hopefully I should be on, yeah, I think I'll be on next Sunday. So hopefully see you all next time. So round to Frank, ZS6GE to take G4 IMO.
Okay. Yes, I still have my microphone, so theoretically it should work. Thanks for the explanations, Alberto. Mike also, G0MJW, mentioned something like image frames. So I think that's the same thing you were talking about. I have to investigate that. Unfortunately, I have to run, so I can't take it up further here. I just was sort of under the impression that the compression mode, or that, how shall I say, that the modem sends only the parts of the pictures that move and to reduce the data rate, and that the fixed background sort of saves on data. So I was under the impression, okay, now I have a fixed picture, there are no changes, so it should be ideal, nearly nothing to transmit every time. But obviously, somewhere along the line, I make a thinking error. What else? Yeah, Mike, Leon, you described it exactly right, what I'm observing. What I can do, I can check the resolution of the picture. Maybe that is too high. Maybe it helps if I reduce the resolution of the picture down to normal, and see if that helps. Otherwise, I might have mentioned it before, I use two complete different systems for narrowband and wideband. Two different antennas, two different Bluetooths, two different computers. And the advantage is that I don't have to change over everything. I could even run both at the same time. I haven't done it yet. No, I had no reason to. But that whole switching over and watching for the settings, that was too much for me. So I have now two complete chassis, one for wideband, one for narrowband, and that's it. Okay, I have to run. Thanks very much. Have all noch a nice Sunday, and hope to see you again soon. From ZS6 Golf Echo, and Frank, if you still
ZS6 Golf Echo from G8 PQH. ZS6 Golf Echo from G8 PQH. ZS6 Golf Echo. Right. Hopefully, I've got less shaking about on the picture this time, or less stuttering. So a very interesting net. So a lot of stuff in there. So a lot of stuff to think about. I will say 73s to everybody and wish you a very good Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening or whatever, I think, depending where you are. What am I up to? We are putting up we had a beautiful day yesterday here in southern England on the south coast. Went to Goodwood to watch the horse racing, and today we're off to a barbecue in the neighbour's back garden. So this is a curious thing, an English barbecue where it's probably going to rain on us, but we'll just stand in the back garden anyway. So 7 threes to everybody. I'll put up a cheerful test card and then hand it back to Gary, a ZS6 YI and the worldwide net. 7 threes, everyone.
Okay, very good there, Frank. And Frank, yeah, Frank, I did say we must perhaps just reduce the thing, but Mike's come up with an idea. Reduce your frame rate. And so try that. Anyway, I want to thank everyone on YouTube as well. We've had quite a number of people watching on YouTube. And just to say hi to the following people: Regina, Peter Rudolph, DK3 Zulu Fox, Regina from Delta Golf 5 Fox Mike, Dirk, ZS6 Delta Hotel, Saro, VU2 OBR was watching, and then Chand, VU3 Fox Mike, has come up. Chand, we haven't seen you for a long time. Old Henry, ZS Henry Stevens, ZS6 Mike Charlie. He's also now Charlie Tango 7 Alpha Radio Delta. He's watching on both YouTube and on his own mini tuner. Peter, our Welsh friend, he's watching. And then Rolf, Delta Juliet 7 Tango Hotel. Yeah, Rolf, your receiver is still working spot on. That's what I'm using here. And then to Kevin, Golf 8 Radio Delta Tango. Amongst the others, there's been quite a number of people watching today. So far, 62. So there we go. With that, I'll bid everyone a happy week, safe week, and we look forward to next week. This is ZS6YI, saying 7-3, and also to all on the BATC net. Forgot to mention that. My apologies. There are many guys watching and also commenting. Mike, of course, MJW, Golf 4 Echo Whiskey Juliet. Phil was there. Let me just see who else I notice that we haven't said hi to. The rest we have. So there we go. With that, all the best. Have a lovely evening, a lovely week. See you next week. This is ZS6YI near Johannesburg going QRT signing off.
Okay, Gary, thanks very much. I'm just barging in here. Alberto, thank you very much. That's you've hit the nail on the head there. Yeah, it's the keyframe, but still, not all stations have that effect. I've checked now on Gary's picture. That little sports car behind him, the rims, that would show it up beautifully. There's absolutely zero of that effect on Gary's picture, and Gary's picture is sharp. I checked on some people, it's 10 seconds for the keyframe to come around again. Your explanation is 100%, makes perfect sense. I've read about it, but it's a long time ago. You're quite right. You have to send the whole thing to get the whole dimension, to get everything, the sinks and all the stuff at low resolution, because the pipe is only so narrow. And then after that, you just fill in the little bits that change. But as I say, in the old days, you could set that timing. Nowadays, you can't. I think it just happens. But some of them do it very cleverly so you don't see the difference. Like in Gary's one, in Phil's one, you don't see any of that in Phil's transmission. But he's using a totally different system. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to find out how one could cure that. What is the magic thing? Where does it lie? But that's definitely what's happening. Because it gets better, and then woof, when it sends the whole frame at low resolution, because you only have so much bandwidth, and then it starts coloring it in and getting all the detail. Some are quick, like I think on yours I checked 3 seconds. Others are longer. Anyway, I don't know if I can see it on mine now. Why don't I see it on my own picture now? Mine's not doing it now. Can't see it. Anyway, okay, Frank, I hope that puts you at ease. Yeah, it definitely, if you can reduce the size of the picture, the resolution, it'll help. Or as Mike says, reduce the frame rate. That'll help. Anything to reduce the amount of data per second going through the narrow pipe. Anyway, cheers from ZS1 Mike saying 73s.